Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Happy 4th of July week, everybody. Today, we are going to be talking about building an AI knowledge base. Now, last week, we had gotten into building out our first AI, working on our AI receptionist. And I'm sure as you got into it, you started to realize there's a lot that goes into this. So today, we're going to kind of take a step back from what we did last week, and we're going to dive into what it takes to actually build out an AI knowledge base. And the reason this is so important is your knowledge base is going to be kind of the center point of everything that's going to happen with your AI. So we're going to hop into this. If you have questions while we're going through it, make sure you comment in the whatever platform you're joining me on. Comment, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions as we're going through this. And if you stay to the end, I've actually got a prompt command that's already set up for you that I'm going to share with you guys so that as you get into this, you can start working through it. And then we've got some cool stuff we're working on for you next week for this as well. But we're going to hop in. So today we're going to be talking about creating an AI knowledge base, the foundation for smarter call bots and chat bots. And the reason we're doing this is because I want to help you guys really understand, like, what does this look like? How does this function? What do you need to do? How does it all work? Like if you've got your knowledge base down, you can get your AI bot to do basically whatever you want it to do. So that's my goal for you, is to give you the formulas to get you to that point where your AI, you building AI bots is nothing. So here's what we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about what is a knowledge base, understanding the central information, the repository that powers your AI tools, why it matters for AI, how it's going to impact performance, the direct connection between knowledge quality and how it performs, and then we're gonna show you how to actually create a knowledge base that works. Practical structure, formatting guidelines for real world applications, so that your AI call bot is doing what it needs to do. I'm going to give you a step-by-step formula and real examples and implementation tips. So my goal is that by the end of today, that you will have the magic formula to be able to set up and create any AI chatbot that you want inside of your Profit Lifter account, so that you can keep things moving and keep it rocking and rolling. All right, let's start at the top. Before we start diving into knowledge bases. I need to adjust that a little bit. Before we jump into like talking about how to design knowledge bases, how to build them, we need to understand what is a knowledge base. So your knowledge base is a central source of truth that serves as the foundation for teaching and guiding AI systems and customer interactions. This is going to be the basic knowledge of how you function, what you do, what's included, how your company works, how your industry works, how you want the AI to be interacting with people, communication styles, all sorts of things that are going to go along. This structured content repository contains carefully organized information that's going to, 1, answer common customer questions, 2, explains processes and procedures. So if people have questions about how it works and what goes on, it's going to take it from there. 3, it's going to provide reference information, give them real tools, give the AI real tools, show them how to find it. And then 4th, it's going to guide conversation flows. And I think the 4th one, probably the most important one to me, but it's a good thing to be able to have that. But when you're building this, you have to think your knowledge base is basically you training your AI employee. This is going to be explaining what they're doing, the functions, all of this. And the beauty of the knowledge base is that once you have it there, it's something you can use across all of your AI employees, meaning that if you have a chat bot that you want to set up, you can use any of the knowledge bases that you have built, and work with it through that. So it's very, very handy. It's one of the most critical parts of the AI and how it works. So here's why a knowledge base matters for your AI. Without structure, bots provide generic, unhelpful responses that frustrate users and damage brand perception. They fail to handle common scenarios or offer meaningful assistance. Is basically, if you don't have your knowledge base in order, when somebody's chatting with your AI bot, it's going to be like them basically going into Chat GPT, typing in some questions where they may get some generic answers and things that make sense, but it's not going to be specific to your industry. It's not going to be specific to what you're doing, to your business, how everything works. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to make sure that as we're doing this, that you are able to get in, that you're able to go in, see exactly what's happening, and know exactly that the AI is able to respond exactly how it's supposed to and answer all those questions for you, making sure that it's all there, it's dialed in, and it's going to do that. When you have the structure, though, the bots become more accurate. And I'll give you an example. We had just and this is a I failed, and so I'm going to help you not fail example. But we had recently launched our e-commerce shop for Profit Lifter. And one of the things that there was like a key piece of this that I forgot to put into it. And so we had somebody go through, they purchased, they went through the process, did everything the way they were supposed to. And then from there, it created a bad experience because I forgot to put a critical piece of information into our AI. And so as it was chatting with it, it messed up because I was kind of generic with it. I didn't dial it in and go, oh, by the way, this is what happens. When your knowledge base is actually structured and you have it all there, bots become accurate. They become on brand. They start speaking the way you want them to speak. They start answering the questions that you want them to answer, and they become capable of handling real world questions. In order for your AI bots to do what you need them to do, you have got to tell them what you want them to do. Your knowledge base is how you can do that. Once you have your knowledge base, the beauty is it can be incredibly complex because it's AI. They can follow the complex workflows. They can work through decision trees. They can deliver meaningful value. You just have to tell them what that value is. And the beauty of this is that once you've trained it once, you will have trained all of your bots 1,000 times, and you can reuse this over and over and over again. Remember, AI is only as smart as what it knows. Quality input creates quality output. Value in equals value out. And so that's what today is about getting you to that point that you've got that value inside of your AI, inside of your knowledge base. All right, let's talk through some practical nuances here. Where does a knowledge base live? Your knowledge base should be stored in a platform that's one, easily accessible to your entire team, two, simple to update and maintain, three, structured enough for AI to process effectively, and four, secure for sensitive business information. My pro tip for this, choose a format that's easy to update and share with your team. Best knowledge base is one that actually gets maintained. Now, I'm going to give you 4 options for this. One is going to be Google Doc. Second is going to be a platform like Notion, or like we use ClickUp. We've used ClickUp for our knowledge base. CRM values, direct integrations with Profit Lifter, and then an internal wiki. And this could be of any source. What I recommend, because if those of you guys have been following me, I had a debacle a couple months ago where I tried updating ChatGPT to the paid version. And not the personal one, but like the Teams version, so I could start getting all my teams on ChatGPT, and it lost everything for me. And because of that, like I restructured how we're interacting with AI, how our team interacts with it. Everything that we do moving forward is on Google Docs. And the reason that I put it on Google Docs is really simple. One, I want it everywhere. And so if you set up your knowledge bases on Google Docs, which is by far my number one option, the reason I love this is because if you do it on Google Docs, you can use that Google Doc in Notion. You can use that Google Doc in the CRM. That Google Doc becomes your internal wiki. It's just easy. It's easy to update, easy to use, and if you're using Microsoft Word and you're in Microsoft, same thing. As long as it's one of these, as long as it's like an Office doc setting that you're able to use, I'm going to recommend you either use Word or Google Docs for this. The reason I prefer Google is that Google is integrated with ChatGPT. meaning that I'll just show you here. I'll show you a great example. So here's my Chat GPT. So if I'm using Google, the reason that I love this is because I can come in here and go, hey, I want to add from an app, and I can literally import all of our files from Google right here into this. So as I'm speaking about a project, as I'm writing something about a project, I can literally just come in here and upload the Google file right there for the AI to use. So I'm a big fan of using Google in this capacity. I think it provides some of the best updates and kind of most universal access for your team for the AI for everything. So while you're building this, like I said, highly recommend Google Docs. If you're going to be using something like Microsoft, still works out great, works out fine. You just want to make sure that like when you're sharing those docs with your AI or you're exporting them, that you just have it set so that anybody who has the link can have access to it. And it's really that simple moving forward. So next, let's talk about this. There are three core pillars of a strong knowledge base. First one's going to be topics. Second is going to be intent. And third is going to be response. So topic, intent, and response. So these are the three that we're going to be looking at. Topics are organized categories that group related information. So for your topics, you may look at billing and payments, product features, sales process, technical support, customer support. I want you to think like these are like the different categories of your business. These are the different areas. So like if you've got, let's say you've got multiple products, this would be like you would have like all of your products listed. So you say, hey, Keith, what if I'm selling business loans and we've got like 50 different products? Cool. Make 50 different products that are built out inside of your knowledge base. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great way to go about it. The key to your knowledge base is this. It's not that you're providing the AI different information from what it already has. It's that you're telling it what is specific about your information. Because look, at the end of the day, I'm not doing something brand new that AI has never heard about. You're probably not doing something brand new that AI has never heard about either. It's got that general knowledge out there, but what you're doing in your knowledge base is you're going through and explaining, look, here's how we present it. Here's how we talk about it. Here's how we interact with our customers on it. And here's our unique value proposition on this same product that you already know about. So it's not that you're teaching it something new. You're teaching your bot your language and how you interact with these products and how you interact with these different topics that you're programming. Next, you want to look at intent. What users are trying to accomplish. So you want to be thinking about like, how are they trying to interact with you? Are they trying to get a quote? Are they trying to change a subscription? Are they trying to fix a technical issue? Are they trying to sign up? Are they trying to apply for something? Are they trying to buy something from you? Like understanding the intent of how your users are going to use this is going to be key for how you're programming your knowledge base and setting up your AI to be able to answer this. And here's a little secret. And I was going to save this till the end, but it works just fine here. While you're doing this, you use the magic formula is you use AI to program AI. Use AI to fill in the details, go through, review it, add it in there. And if you're not sure what needs to happen with the intent, just ask. Just ask the AI, brainstorm with it, give it some instructions, give it some commands to go out and list it out, and then come back and have it populate it. And then finally, the third pillar of your knowledge base should be the responses, what your AI should say or do based on the intent, based on the topics that are happening. So what? Man, my dog's going nuts. No good reason why either. Sorry about that. So next, you want to program your AI on what it should say or do, and these should be like: is it a clear conversational answer? Are you giving step-by-step instructions? Are you giving links to resources? Is it asking follow-up questions? This is where you're programming your AI how to interact with your leads, how to interact with your customers is through the responses. Because now that you've programmed it on what it's talking about, understanding like what's happening, and then how it's supposed to respond to what it's asking, and understanding what it's trying to accomplish. So these are your three core pillars for your knowledge base. All right, here's the formula. Here's the magic formula I use for building knowledge bases for clients. And we're going to talk about the section and the description. And you can see, again, the three categories. Same thing. Intent, like what's the user intent? What are they trying to do? Trigger, what is a phrase or keywords that activates this response? This trigger is actually incredibly helpful, because this is going to tell the AI that, like, hey, if they say, I'm interested in applying, then that apply is the phrase or keyword that's going to trigger this response. The triggers help the AI to understand when to move the conversation from up here to over here. So think of it this way. Like when you're having a sales conversation with somebody and they say, hey, I'm interested in this one thing, in your mind, that is a trigger to change and deviate the conversation to now go down this path that they had mentioned. It's the same thing. You're programming the AI of going, hey, if they talk about that, here's the trigger. Now, if you want to get complex about this, the trigger can actually be multiple, can kind of be multiple ways to be able to interact with it. Meaning that you can have a trigger that says, hey, if they're talking about this, here's our number one thing, but here's our number two thing, here's our number three thing. And if they mention any of these three, go with that direction, but make the number one the most important. So basically you can tell it that here's our priority list. And if you catch multiple, if they say multiple trigger words, go with the highest value of that intent. Next, you're going to look at response. What the AI should say, or information it should provide. And this doesn't have to be minute. Like you don't have to get too in depth. Like if it's general information that's talking about like how like what your services are, you can be like just explain the services. But if you want it to respond in a certain fashion, this is where you would program that in. So basically, like if you wanted to respond saying, hey, if we respond, then share a specific link. That's where you would need to put this response in there. Or if it responds, then I want you to, or if with the response, I want you to respond to this trigger specifically this way. This is where you're going to be programming that in. And then finally is going to be the action. What workflows, what follow-up steps, what do you want the AI to do after the response? What is the action that the AI is going to be taking after it has performed this specific task? And from here, you're going to apply this format consistently for every key topic in your knowledge base to create a comprehensive AI training resource. This is the magic formula that I follow when I'm programming, because it just helps keep everything simple. That way I know exactly, like if you use this, now I know what the topics are. We know what the intent is. We know that from that intent, we're able to define our triggers. And then with those triggers, we can have the responses go. And then from those responses, we can create actions inside of the CRM to be able to get them to follow up, do everything we need to do. Let's give some real life examples. SalesBot example. SalesBot intent, ask about pricing. Trigger, how much does it cost? Response, we have several options depending on what you need. Can I ask you a couple quick questions to guide you? So basically in the response, you're saying, hey, if they ask about pricing, ask a follow-up question. Action, route to qualifying question sequence. Or if you want to make it where your AI bot's not even talking about pricing, you can say route to or set a consultation to discuss pricing, or try to transfer the chat to a live representative, or set a tab. Like you can create all sorts of different things to happen from there. But these are just examples of how you could do it. Next would be like a support bot example. The intent may be, I'm having trouble logging in. Trigger, I can't log in. Response, let's get you back in. Have you tried resetting your password? So these are some of the just ways that you can do it. Action is going to be a link to a password reset page if you're doing that. These could be customer support examples, just different ways of being able to handle this. So here's, again, these are some of the real life examples. I want to get you thinking about, like, how does this work? What does this actually look like for my business as I'm moving forward? All right, so here's how to build your knowledge base fast. First, start with FAQs. Begin with questions your customers already ask regularly. This represents the most immediate value for automation. This is the fastest way to be able to get your business up or to be able to get your chatbots up and going, to be able to get it programmed and make sure that it's doing what it needs to do. Because these are going to be the most common questions. These are going to be what's going to be asked the most from this process. Next is going to be document repetitive processes. List every topic your team answers repeatedly. Ask support and sales what consumes their time with routine answers. So the more that you can automate your repetitive tasks, have AI do it. Like, just make it work. Next is going to be organized by use case. Group your content into clear categories by sales, support, billing, onboarding. This is going to make maintaining your list much easier. This is going to make your training easier. If you need to update your knowledge base, you're going to be able to go in and go, oh, this was a sales team question. Let's go in. Let's answer these questions. Next is going to be use customer language. Write in short, friendly language your customers actually use. Avoid jargon. This is important. Like, a lot of times AI can jump into, like, jargon, throwing out industry content, just talking about things that are always there and how it works. I want you to avoid using jargon so that you can speak directly to your customers and and talk to them the way they're being talked to. And if you avoid using jargon, it's going to help your customers be able to understand what your chatbot is talking about cleaner, smoother, without having to go through and ask a bunch of follow-up questions. And then finally, apply a consistent format. Structure every entry using the intent, trigger, response, action formula for maximum effectiveness. If you have a consistent format, you will have consistent responses from your knowledge base, and work you through that. So let's talk about some final tips. Before we jump into those final tips, I actually want to walk you through, and I want to show you just a real life example of setting up a knowledge base. One second, I think I may need to move this around. Give me just a second here. Nope. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. One second, and okay, this is all right. Well, this isn't working the way I'd hoped. That's okay though. It should work out fine. Man, I'm just all over the place here. All right, I'm going to stop clicking buttons. Where's it going to go from here? So inside of Profit Lifter, I'm in the back section under knowledge base in the settings. And up here, right where my head's at, we're going to click Create Knowledge Base. And I'm just going to put this as live example. And I'm not going to put a description in there because this is just an example for what I'm building. Now, when you're building your knowledge base, and we covered this last week, I just want you to see it again. You're going to have a web crawler. This web crawler is, this is going to be incredible if there are industry websites that have the knowledge that you're looking for. This is a great way to have the AI go through and crawl the actual domain. And again, you can have it go to an exact URL. If you do exact URL, it's only going to crawl that page. You can say all URLs with the path, meaning that anything like in the path. So for mine, it'd be profitlifter.com/. Anything after that slash, it's going to search everything there, or all URLs in this domain. If you use all URLs in this domain, what that's going to do is it's going to take all of the pages that are in any subdomains. So if I've got like help.profitlifter.com, info.profitlifter.com, it's going to search all of those, all of the URLs in that domain and be able to help. From there, you'll hit extract data. It takes it several minutes to go through all the pages. And then from there, you can just add all the pages. The other side is under this web crawler. This is where you would actually add your, this is actually where you can add your Google Doc. So as you're creating your knowledge base in your Google Doc, you would be able to add it right here and extract all the data right there. It makes it nice and easy. Now, for your FAQs, there is a specific source here to be able to add your FAQs where you can come in, put your most common questions, your answers right there, add them in there, and it will answer all those questions. And lastly, tables. This is something, this is a table file to train your bot. This is not available yet. But if you use the web crawler with Google Docs and your FAQs, you're going to go just miles and miles and miles with just that information right there and be able to help with that. So wanted to show you kind of hands-on where to go in and program your knowledge base after you did that. So after you get through your training, now you're going to be able to hop in there. And then one last thing that I told you that I was going to put together just because I want to make sure that you have it. I have put together a nice little prompt command for you. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take this out because this one's not really helpful. I'm going to put this on the next page for you there. But basically what this is going to do, this is going to, when you're getting started, this is where you can come in here. You can literally just copy and paste this first page into ChatGPT. Use this to start creating your knowledge base. And I'm going to make this so that anyone with the link is able to view as a viewer, meaning that if you use this and you open this up, come up here to File, hit Add Shortcut to Drive, or you can click Make a Copy, and it will save it to your own Google Doc. So you can go through and start using this if you want to do it that way. Let me throw this in the chat for you guys here so everybody's got access to it. That's going to go into sharing, and let's put it inside of the group here. It's having a hard time with this group. It's not letting me comment. I'll come back and add this to the group so you guys have access to it in the group there. But that's just a nice, easy way. So again, let's do a recap. Final tips for creating your AI base, your AI knowledge base. One, keep your answers concise. You don't need to get long-winded. You don't need to drag it out. You don't need to get super in-depth with everything. Just keep it nice and easy. And it's going to make it really easy to program your AI from there. So keep it simple. That's going to be keep your answers concise. Update it regularly. If you're making changes, make sure that you're adding those changes inside of your AI. What I recommend is this: if you like, we've talked about that. It's been a long time since I've talked about this, but write out your SOPs for your company, put them in a Google Doc, and then just use that for your knowledge base. Man, it's going to make your life so much easier. That way, when you onboard new employees, new team members, you're able to just give them that SOP, train them. You can train your AI bot. You can update your AI. When you update your knowledge base and you update your SOPs, it'll update your AI knowledge base. And then from there, it will help keep everything updated. And then from there, role play scenarios. Test your bot by simulating common customer interactions to identify gaps, improve natural conversation flow. Just use it. Get out there and try it. If it doesn't work, just get in and tweak your knowledge base a little bit, make it work from there. This is a good one. Always include human escalation. Always provide a clear path for users to reach a human when the AI can't solve their problem. It's just a very helpful way so people don't get frustrated with your AI and don't reach out. And then lastly, start small and then expand. Begin with your top 10 most common scenarios rather than trying to cover everything at once. Keep it really simple. If you have this human escalation and you start small, It's a great way to have your AI start scheduling appointments for you, interacting with people, taking notes, creating lists of people that you can call back that have engaged with you, and then start from there. And then just start building out your AI knowledge base using your SOPs, and take it from there and build something awesome. So what's coming next week? If you guys enjoyed this, last week we had set up our AI receptionist. Next week, we're going to work on creating your first AI sales chatbot. We're going to do that live. So join us next week as we put this framework in action. We're going to do step-by-step live demonstration, real world examples that you can adapt, practical implementation techniques, and interactive Q&As. So next week, we're going to get hot and heavy on building an AI chatbot with you live. So that way you can have a sales assistant right by your side, helping you and your sales team close deals with AI, so you can make more money and make your profits explode. And make sure you're liking, subscribing to the channel, and that way you get notified and you can come back and build with us next week. So until then, I hope you guys have an amazing 4th of July weekend. Enjoy the long weekend. Hope you guys stay safe. Have a great one. And we will see you next week as we start building our AI sales chatbot. Have a great